This is Southern Cross News with Rachel Williams.
As the state budget looms later this month, concerns are mounting over Tasmania's share of the GST. Tasmania is heavily reliant on the tax to prop up its budget, but with a redistribution looming, the future of our spending capability has come into question.
Sorell to Hobart is one of Tasmania's most congested commutes. While infrastructure plans are in the works to help fix the issue, there are concerns that changes to the GST carve-up could impact investment and projects like this.
If we do have a reduction in Tasmania's share of GST, it will impact our ability to fund our hospitals and our schools and to build the infrastructure that's supporting our community.
We are well aware of the risk of any change to the GST distribution, the methodology. That's why we are fighting tooth and nail to ensure that Tasmania's fair share is properly recognised.
About 40% of Tasmania's budget comes from GST revenue, but with no allocation beyond next financial year visible in the federal budget, critics are asking how the Tasmanian government is budgeting for the state beyond those years.
Unexpected events are what require good governments to ensure a budget is under control. That's what we've done.
Not a matter of the Premier or the Treasurer saying that they think everything's going to be okay anymore. We need to make sure they're in Canberra making the case for Tasmania.
With significant upgrades to the Tasman Highway promised, the Sorell Mayor says building work needs to start as soon as possible.
We know that there's work underway to fix those issues, but we now have identified that the growth is sort of outstripping the capability of a lot of other infrastructures in the area, including the Dodgers Ferry School and the Sorell schools.
The new GST formulas will be released later this month. Michelle Wisby, Southern Cross News.
There's developing news on Tasmania's fruit fly crisis with a new detection in a key apple growing region. Biosecurity Tasmania has confirmed a single adult male fruit fly was found inside a home at Franklin in the Huon Valley. Early investigations suggest the pest entered with imported fruit. Authorities say there's no evidence of a breeding population in the area and traps have come back clear. Fruit flies can destroy valuable crops and threaten Tasmania's export routes. Today marked the end of Crime Stoppers Week for another year, with the 2018 campaign already being hailed a success. The annual appeal calls on all Tasmanians to report crime anonymously, this year's focus being the reporting of illicit drugs, theft and shoplifting. A 34% increase in reporting was recorded across the week, more than half of those being drug-related.
Once again, the Tasmanian public have really got behind Crime Stoppers. We've had a good increase in the percentage of calls coming through, and we're really pleased with the commitment of the Tasmanian community.
The community thanked for playing its part in creating a safer state. Hobart's housing market is continuing to defy the national trend, but the housing boom has not been welcome news for all. While nationally housing values continue to slip lower, new data today reveals Hobart homes have seen a 4% increase in value in the last 3 months. The CoreLogic report also showing Hobart's rental prices are rising at a rate of 11% a year.
More and more people are finding it harder to buy into the Hobart marketplace because of this trend. Normally they go into the rental market, but we're seeing rents rising really quickly as well.
Experts predict these housing trends are not likely to slow down anytime soon. The state's newest $25 million hotel that's been years in the making will officially open at a VIP event tonight. Its developer, Errol Stewart, says Launceston's economy and positivity is the best he's seen it in at least 2 decades. And he says the construction boom is set to continue.
What was once the old grain silos is now Launceston's newest attraction. 8 floors, a giant restaurant, a bar and even a resident dog named Archie, making up the Silo Hotel.
We're obviously very proud of it. 50 new staff start today.
And most employed are Tasmanians.
It's a really important part of our history, using the silos, and we're all like a big family here and everyone's really passionate about fresh produce and supporting smaller businesses.
Only 8 of the 108 rooms still need to be completed. They'll be finished early next week.
We've got 80 rooms of our guests staying with us tonight, and we officially open tomorrow to the public, and we've got 78 rooms booked.
This hotel has been 10 years in the planning stage and has taken the past 2 years to build, and Errol Stewart's construction work isn't done yet. His CH Smith vision is becoming reality, and he has future plans to build a high-rise apartment block on land north of the silos. Joseph Cromie's Gorge Hotel will also soon start to be constructed, as will the Hotel Verge near City Park.
The city is changing positively now, and we're going to see benefits for the next 100 years as a result.
Mr Stewart is confident Launceston hotels will continue making a profit over summer, but says more winter events in the north are needed.
If somebody could think of something as good as Mona to put next door here, just come and talk to me and we'll be building it.
The new hotel is now Launceston's tallest building. Whether others try to outrise it, we'll have to wait and see. The Treasurer staying out of any height restriction talks.
That's a matter for councils and local communities.
Monica Dadson, Southern Cross News.
New colonies of dung beetles are set to be released in Tasmania in a project to help improve farmland. Landcare Tasmania is teaming up with local schools to set up a breeding centre and establish wild populations.
Students at Clarendon Vale Primary School met their new residents today.
There's a baby one! That's okay.
They may look like common creepy crawlies, but these bugs have specialised skills that could benefit farmers.
They are very industrious and they've got a strange way of life, but they can be really important.
The dung beetles released into breeding tents today to help build up their population. Then they'll be released on farmland to help break down livestock waste.
And they basically bury it into the ground. That helps reduce the amount of dung laying around on the surface, but it also has enormous benefits in terms of the health of the pastures.
We're hoping to breed so many that we can actually release them in Tasmania, and so they're a common beetle.
Students designed the project as part of a lesson about our environment.
So the children have been learning about the dung beetle and its purpose and what it will do in the environment.
The project made possible by the J.M. Roberts Charitable Trust. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
Aspiring engineers from around the world have today had their robotic boat building skills put to the test. The Australian Maritime College Challenge proving just how difficult the successful design and operation of a real ship can be.
60 AMC engineering students powering up to prove their design skills are top-notch.
At the end of the day, it's all about the work they put in throughout the semester, and most of them have done quite a big work on their robots.
Working on such a small scale, not without its challenges.
We've just gained a whole new respect for the engineers because it takes so much effort to do what they do. Just programming alone took me about 60 hours, just calibrating everything, all of it.
The robotic boats use cameras and acoustic sensors to manoeuvre their way through the set course.
So you've got a camera at the top. When it detects a green marker, it turns one propeller off and turns one direction. And then depending on which colours it detects in the water for the buoys, it'll turn each motor on or off.
16 teams made up of students from Denmark, Myanmar and Australia, to name a few, worked hard throughout the day, all managing to stay afloat.
There's lots of challenges with keeping electronics in the water and running programming. For most of these students, it's the first time they've used programming, so overcoming problems from going from the classroom and into the real world is always a problem.
Ready to work on the big boats?
Not yet.
Not yet. We're going to get a lot more training, definitely.
Jessie Gilmore, Southern Cross News.
Around 1,500 athletes are preparing for this weekend's Launceston 10. Among them, world marathon runner Sinead Diver, back to defend her title.
32.52 was my time last year, and it was a big PB for me, so I'm running as well, if not a little bit better this year so far, so if all goes well on Sunday I'm hoping to go faster.
Two-time place getter Victoria's Jack Rayner also confident he can go one better.
The conditions are pretty good, so yeah, it depends how the race starts out. I know Dejan, he's one of the local boys in the race, but he'll probably be pretty tough to beat, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Organisers attributing an increase in interstate competitors to the flat course and an extension of the running festival.
We've got more food vendors, more partners here, so it should be a lot more fun. We're opening actually on Saturday from 1 p.m. until 7 p.m, so anyone who's at the football can come by here on the way or on the way back home.
A further 200 runners also expected to sign up on Sunday. With winter officially here, Tasmanians are being encouraged to spare some extra change to help others. The City Mission launching its winter relief campaign today. My Kitchen Rules contestants Anna and Henry Terry are supporting the appeal by cooking a dish for the charity's Pay It Forward dinner on July 19.
So we are cooking an entree at this winter appeal dinner, so people will pay what they feel that the meal's worth. So hopefully if we put some truffle in there, people might bump up the price a little bit and we can raise some serious money.
Every winter there's, a lot of need for this sort of thing, and we're stoked to be a part of something like this.
The mission says the number of people needing financial support is increasing every year. Guide Dogs Tasmania has welcomed some new recruits to help people with vision impairments. 2 specially bred puppies have arrived from interstate as they begin their journey to become guide dogs.
These are the very cute arrivals at Guide Dogs Tasmania. Just over 8 weeks old, the playful pups have just touched down from Adelaide.
Hi! Hi, how are you, Kim? Good?
A milestone this morning as the dogs Gemma and Tyson met their new carers.
Doggy kisses, yeah.
These volunteers will help set the ground rules, setting the dogs up for formal training.
The families are very excited to have met their pups first thing this morning, and their role is going to be socialising those pups over the next 18 months, taking them out to lots of different environments, getting them nice and comfortable and preparing them ready for their formal guide dog training.
Megan signed up to help after the death of a much-loved pet.
After that one passed, we decided to have a break, and instead of getting another pet, we decided to have a dog not only as a pet, but one we could include part of the family, something that's going to help somebody else out.
With 14 puppies arriving over the next 12 months, more volunteers are needed.
It's really great to see some new families coming on board to our program as well. We're always on the hunt for puppy raising families, and with us increasing our puppy numbers over the next 12 months, we're going to need more families to join our program. Information
can be found on the organisation's website on how you can help these cute and cuddly pups. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
Now look at the day's business and finance news thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has closed lower as most sectors lose ground, led by banking, telco and energy stocks. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 21.5 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 75.42 US cents and 107.9 New Zealand cents.
Port Adelaide and Hawthorn have arrived in the state ahead of tomorrow's clash at UTAS Stadium. Both teams taking to the ground for a light training session in front of fans this afternoon, with Port not anticipating an easy ride despite Hawthorn dropping its past 3 games.
For Hawthorn to come off a loss, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a very high quality team that are hungry, so we're expecting a really big challenge tomorrow.
Port Adelaide have a jam-packed forward line there with talent, and so we'll be on our toes there, but they're certainly capable of kicking a big score.
The opening bounce is scheduled for just after 2 p.m. Back home, and they're the only side who've managed to get the better of North Launceston this season, but Glenorchy certainly won't be heading into tomorrow's match as favourites after hitting a recent form slump, while Clarence are fresh from the bye and eyeing off a percentage-boosting win over the D's. They were the talk of the competition after the first 5 rounds of the season, but having dropped their 3rd match in a row against Lauderdale last weekend, the Pies are on the back foot.
When you go to the first quarter of our first game against Lauderdale and we kicked 7 goals 1, you go to last weekend, we kicked 2 goals 6 and 2 out in the full. So little things like that make a difference.
Round 3 saw the side shock the league with a 52-point win over the Bombers, a feat the Glenorchy coach is adamant the players can repeat come 2 p.m. tomorrow at KG5.
Our players carry a lot of confidence against North Launceston. They understand it's a huge challenge, but Glenorchy's got a really good record against North Lonnie. The 2 teams have had great battles.
Recharged from a week off, Clarence will be red-hot favourites to notch up their 4th win on the trot up against the D's, welcoming back skipper Brady Jones from injury.
So if they bring the heat early on, we've got to make sure that we match that. So for our guys, it's about understanding that, yeah, we expect to win the game, but it's about how we win and understanding that they will put us under pressure.
With former Melbourne Demon Colin Garland still battling a knee problem, North Hobart will need nothing short of a miracle at Blunston Arena tomorrow afternoon, following last weekend's 107-point loss to Launceston.
Pretty deflated. Bear was probably pretty disappointing, especially with our first half for effort. It was a complete contrast from when we played the Tigers when our effort especially in the first half, was fantastic. So, look, for such a young group, we've just got to learn ways to be consistent with that effort.
It's one of the most unique racetracks in the country, and this weekend thousands will pack Baskerville Raceway for the Tasmanian Super Series. And for the state's up-and-coming drivers, it could prove an opportunity to make a name for themselves. Josh Webster was just 14 years old when he began cutting his teeth on the track.
Well, it was actually surprising how well we did. Ended up coming second in the championship, was nominated for the CAMS Rookie of the Year award, which I ended up winning.
Kylie Jane Chappell's introduction to competitive racing wasn't quite as planned.
Partner and I come out to Baskerville Historics last year and it was for sale, and it was a very quick, we'll take that at that time.
And it was no slowing down from there.
I know I probably shouldn't be looking at the speedo, but sometimes down the back straight I've noticed it's about 170. It's adrenaline rush, it's stress relief, it's pretty good.
The pair will compete in the Hyundai XL class this Sunday as the state's best drivers converge on the newly refurbished Baskerville track for round 3 of the Tasmanian Super Series.
I'm just out there to have a bit of fun basically and just roll with the car and just see where I can go.
Well, Josh will be hoping to shift up another gear following last year's impressive debut season as he prepares for the XL Nationals at Phillip Island in September.
Hopefully we can come away top step like we did last round, but anything can happen in motorsport, as we all know.
Following a dream start to the Australian Netball League season, the Tasmanian Magpies will head in favourites for their 2 matches against the Queensland Fusion at Launceston Silverdome tomorrow and Sunday, with the side sitting on top of the league ladder, having dropped just 1 of 8 matches.
I think you have to go into every game feeling confident. We don't take any teams lightly. We tend to just focus on our job and get that done, and the results sort of speak for themselves.
Sunday's match will be followed by the Super Netball League clash between the Collingwood Magpies and the Queensland Firebirds.
Good evening. 14 degrees today for Hobart, Launceston and Burnie. 15 the top in Devonport to round out the working week. Around the state, 15 was the state's top at Smithton, Eddiston Point, St Helens and also on King Island. 14 degrees on Flinders. 14 also at Scottsdale, Wynyard, Campania and Bushy Park. Low Head, Ouse and Strawn hit 13 with 9 degrees the top in Lyowini. On the charts, cloud visible across the east and southern parts of the state in Tasmania. Low cloud continues along the New South Wales coast with patchy high cloud streaming over southern Australia with a band of mid-level cloud crossing WA. The remainder is mostly cloud-free. Tomorrow the high remains over Tasmania, extending ridges across the eastern half of the country. A trough extends across WA. South to southwesterly winds tomorrow, 10 to 20 knots in the northeast. Variable winds elsewhere with seas between 1 and 2 metres. No warnings, so looking to the forecast. Sunny in the south tomorrow, 14 for Hobart, Maydena 11 degrees, 12 at Oatlands. 15 degrees the top in Launceston, 14 for Devonport, 10 at Lyowini. 14 also at Burnie, 13 for Strawn and Marrawar with mostly cloudy conditions there, with 14 degrees and showers for St Helens, Swansea and Orford. Well, some morning frost across the state on Sunday morning, a pretty fine day elsewhere. Showers for the south and the west on Monday, with a mostly fine day apart from some showers on the northwest coast on Tuesday and a frosty start there also. Looking at your major centres, 20 degrees for Perth tomorrow, 14 for Melbourne and Canberra. Sydney, some showers and 18 degrees, 23 for Brisbane with 31 the top for Darwin. Cloudy night tonight for Hobart, 10 degrees, Launceston clear, 7 and Devonport 6 degrees, a clear night there. That's all from me. Thanks, Rach.
Thanks for that, Sam. Well, that's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Have a great evening. Good night.